Alrighty, my friends. Hello and welcome. How's everybody doing today? What's up? What's up, everyone? Phil here live on the stream. A final full day of streaming for the week for you guys. Welcome. Today is Friday, June 15th, 2018. Ladies and gents, we are halfway through June. And E3 is officially over. It ended yesterday. It wrapped up. Yesterday was a big day for me. I had a giant podcast, the biggest podcast I've ever done. 4 hours. Okay? So if you did not see that podcast, you missed out on a lot. And rather than me go through it all today, I'm just going to say, please head over to my vlogging channel, The King of Hate Vlogs, and please get caught up on the podcast at your leisure. I broke that podcast into 3 different parts to make it easily digestible for you rather than have it be one 4-hour video, which would have been unmanageable to jump around. Some great topics there, including my E3 best and worst roundup. I updated my gaming schedule calendar, so you know what I'm playing for the rest of the year. I talked about the state of my own personal life as well as the state of my business. I talked about depression and how it can affect people and how it's affected me in my own life and tried to give some advice and spread awareness. And it was a really good podcast, in my opinion, and I hope you guys will check it out, okay? So, today we're back to business, back to gaming, okay? We had a poll overnight on my Twitter, @TheyCallMeDSP, to determine what order I would be playing games today. And in a 2-to-1 ratio, pretty much, I think it was like 65% to like 35%, so a little under a 2-to-1 ratio. People voted in favor of Jurassic World Evolution. And quite frankly, I think that the reason that this won the poll was twofold. Number one, because after my first session on Tuesday, all hell was breaking loose. My park was actually starting to fall apart. We had dinosaurs breaking out and attacking people, and I was only a half star away from hitting 3 stars and qualifying to start a new island. So I was like right on the precipice of being able to start a new island, and then things were going wrong. I was trying to very hurriedly build a monorail in the hopes that if I built and started up this functioning monorail, that the park would hit 3 stars. But I don't know if I'm going to make it or not, or if more stuff's going to happen, okay? Plus, the other factor here is that Unravel 2, although it is a pretty ingenious puzzle platformer style game, is very similar to Unravel 1 with a few variations. I like the game a lot, but I get the feeling it's not a game that tons of people are going to watch. So I kind of get that vibe from it. So I think that was really the 2 factors that came into play here, okay? So, today will be an interesting mix. Jurassic World Evolution will be my first stream here, about 4 hours of it. We're going to see how it goes. What I'm hoping is between building the monorail and then maybe I'll release the Velociraptor, who's been sitting in the freaking Hammond Center the entire time ready to be released into my pen. Maybe between those 2 things, my park rating will jump to 3 stars, and then I'll be able to rush to the 3rd island. I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. But I guess we will see. You know, we'll see what happens and go from there. All right, maybe the whole thing will fall apart. Who knows? So that's going to be pretty fun. And I don't know how much longer of a playthrough I'll do with Jurassic Park Evolution. I mean, after today, it will have been 8 hours. The game has 5 islands, and apparently once you populate all 5 islands with functioning parks that hit a certain level of satisfaction, that's how you beat the game, per se. But I don't think the game necessarily has a definitive ending. Like, it's basically a sim game, so you could endlessly just keep playing it. In fact, I believe what people were saying was if you have any island hit 4 stars, you open up sandbox mode, which then allows you to have unlimited money and do whatever the hell you want. So you could, like your ideal perfect park, right, with unlimited funds. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how today goes. All right, should be fun. I want to say thanks to those who were supportive of me playing a different kind of game when I started this on Tuesday. And thanks to those who voted for it. And thanks to those who are actually here live for the stream today. Hopefully it goes well, but I guess we'll find out, okay? So that means tonight, on my second stream, my shorter stream, will be 2 hours of Unravel 2. And for those who were following along on Wednesday when I started playing the game, there's only 2 story-based chapters left. So chances are I'm probably going to beat the story of the game tonight, okay? Now, the game has a ton of challenges. And so more than likely what I'll do is if I do beat the story tonight, I'll probably take another nighttime stream next week to try out the challenges. And then once I have, probably do like a mini review of the game. Because quite frankly, there's not a ton to talk about when it comes to reviewing the game. But I'll probably do like a little mini review if I have the chance, okay? Tomorrow is my day off. So just want to remind everyone, Saturday is my day off. And let me tell you, this week flew by. Like, I really feel like this week, foosh, it went by in like a blink of an eye. I think it was the E3 stuff made 2 days pass by so quickly for me that it really doesn't feel like a week has passed since my last day off. It doesn't. But nevertheless, it has, okay? So, yes, tomorrow, no live streams, all right? But I'll be back on Sunday. What will I be playing on Sunday? That's an interesting question. Because now I have some options, right? I could either do more Jurassic World Evolution. I could do a major stream of Vampire. And if I do, if I did a major stream of Vampire, I may beat the game. Because I'm actually in the middle of Chapter 5. And the game apparently only has 7 chapters. But from what I'm going to understand, only Chapters 5 and 6 are actually combat. Like, Chapter 7 apparently is story and kind of epilogue. So, more than likely, if I were to do a major session of Vampire, I may be able to beat the game. Alright, so I'm kind of leaning towards that, even though I know a lot of people are not very interested in Vampire anymore. I'd like to maybe try to finish the playthrough and maybe even review the game. Alright, so I'm kind of thinking maybe that'll be Sunday. Which then means on Monday, it could be a full day of new content. And what would it be? Well, it could be more Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, excuse me, or I could start up the Patron's Choice playthrough, which is Half-Life 2, which is pretty exciting because, like I said, Half-Life 2 is a game. I've tried to play it 3 separate times over the years, and I never beat it. Every time I played it, I got a little further, but I never beat the game. And I would like to maybe go back, and now that I have an audience, right, go back and try to experience this game and see how it is, you know, as a playthrough, since I never played the game, right? Only gotten, you know, certain parts. So we'll see. You know, I'm thinking that's what it's going to be this week, is going to be a balance between me starting up Half-Life 2, doing more Jurassic World Evolution. Keep in mind, I will still be doing some other ongoing series like H1Z1, maybe some PUBG, because I haven't played it in a while now, and probably Street Fighter, okay? All this leading up to Friday, a week from today, when Mario Tennis Aces releases, and I will be playing it because someone gifted me a few eShop codes in order to be able to afford the game, okay? So, yeah, should be a fun week coming up. A good balance between Half-Life 2, Jurassic World Evolution, the conclusion of Vampire, the conclusion of Unravel 2, some H1Z1, maybe some PUBG and some fighting games. I mean, that's a lot of variety right there for the next coming week, okay? Pretty good. And I hope that you guys will enjoy the streams. You'll come hang out with me on a daily basis, hopefully, right? The streams have been pretty good recently. People have really been enjoying everything I do, which is great. At least that's the feedback I'm getting. And people are actually liking the fact that I'm doing a variety of games rather than, you know, just sitting in and doing one game. And, you know, it was fun to do E3 coverage for a while, but now it's time to get back into the world of gaming for a bit, right? Keep in mind, the final week of June, we'll have a couple new releases and things to squeeze in, too. Plus, by the end of this month, guys, I'm going to be doing my Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Master Run Challenge event. And this is going to be a day-long marathon, you know, 7 to 8 hours of gameplay, where I'm going to attempt to beat all the arcade modes on the highest difficulty of all the original Street Fighter games. This is going to be incredibly difficult. If you guys don't know, the computer cheats like the dickens. It reads your inputs. It does ridiculous double counter hit damage for no reason. It's pretty insane. And I get the feeling that's going to be a hell of a day of me getting owned by complete nonsense and raging at the games. At this point, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to beat the Street Fighter 2 games. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So that's coming up by the end of this month. In fact, I'm strongly considering Friday, June 29th to be the day that I'm going to do that marathon, because the 30th is a Saturday. It'll be my day off, and that's also the final day of the month. And there's really nothing going on the 29th. The only game coming out is The Crew 2, which I'm not interested in. I tried the beta, didn't like it. So I'm thinking it would be a good, solid way to kind of end the month, right? So I think that's what I'm leaning toward for that event. Okay? And then keep in mind, there's many other things that are going to be coming up as well. We've got a second Patron's Choice playthrough in The Simpsons Hit and Run that's going to take place this summer. We've got the Rage-a-thon that's going to take place later this summer. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. All right? Good stuff. So I would like to say thank you guys for your support. Thanks for coming out to the streams and hanging out with me on a daily basis. It's been awesome, right? Hope you guys have been having a lot of fun. I guess, excuse me, we'll take this opportunity to do the plugs segment. All right. Then after the plug segment, we'll do shout-outs. And I do want to do a running shout-out countdown here for the top 10, because I didn't do that yesterday, the top 10 contributors for the week. Keep in mind that there's today, Saturday, and Sunday, and then that resets those contributors for the week. So, all right, let's get to the plugs, my friends. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your viewership, and I appreciate you, hanging out with me. And I appreciate 10 years. 10 awesome years where I've been able to share my passion for gaming first of all, as just a hobby, and then second of all, as a job, This wasn't something I ever intended on doing. It was just something I did on a whim, and I ended up turning it into a job for 8 years now, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. And I never even intended to do it, and I certainly didn't put any kind of research or any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't something that I had built up to and intended to do. It just kind of happened, right? And that's pretty amazing, the story. So, thank you for 10 years, all right? And, most of you know that the best way to support me is to watch my live streams or to watch my videos on YouTube, right? Whatever you can do, obviously. And to spread the word about it. There's a lot of misconceptions about me out there. I mean, a ton, considering so many people put slanderous videos about me on YouTube, and YouTube does absolutely nothing about it. It's funny that when most people actually come by to my streams or watch my videos, they're like, wow, in general, yes, Phil has moments of weakness, but in general, his streams and his videos are nothing like what these idiots portray them to be. They're purposely skewing the truth to make him look bad to get popularity for themselves. And it's pretty bad because I watch his stuff. I actually like it. It's a shame because a lot of people won't give me the time of day because they see these slanderous videos and think that I'm like the worst jerk on the planet. So, please continue to watch and continue to spread the word. That's the best thing you can do. But if you would like to go above and beyond, okay, above and beyond just being a standard stream viewer or video watcher, and you would like to contribute in other ways. Let's put it that way. There are 3 primary ways that you can contribute, and allow me to explain. The first would be my Patreon at patreon.com/darksidephil. This is a monthly campaign that I run. And the way that it works is you pledge to my Patreon, and obviously you help support my effort to afford doing this as a job. A lot of expenses and things come into this. I'm self-employed, so my health insurance is incredibly expensive, outside of the fact that there's electricity and internet and buying games and all kinds of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff that comes into play as factors, okay? But the cool thing about pledging to my Patreon is you get stuff back for it. You get what's called perks. Depending on how much you pledge, you earn personal perks. Now, I'm not going to go into all of them, but in my opinion, the best perk is if you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon, you get control over my ongoing special events. So, for example, perfect example, these Patron's Choice playthroughs that I'm starting up were all voted on and nominated, these games, by the patrons. I'm playing Half-Life 2 and Simpsons Hit and Run this summer because of the patrons. This month, if you pledge $5 or more to my Patreon, you're going to be nominating and voting on games for the upcoming Rage-a-thon, where you're going to get to pick games that you know are going to cause me frustration, okay? That's the whole point of the event. I think this is going to be a good one, a great one. I think people will really enjoy it. And you can pick any kind of game. It could be a game I've played before, a game I've never played. It could be a platformer. It could be a fighting game. It could be an action game. It could be anything. A sandbox game. Anything that you think could cause me to rage. All right? Going to be a great event. Looking forward to it. That's going to take place later on in the summer. Just to tell everyone, probably going to be August, because it's going to take about a month for people to nominate and vote on games. But that being said, if you pledge to my Patreon in the next 2 weeks, by the end of this month, $5 or more, you will be the people nominating and voting. So think about the amount of control you get. by pledging $5, all right? In general, just so you guys know, this is on average. When people work on these events, okay, it's about 50 people who are nominating and voting games. 50 people are determining a playthrough that hundreds of people will watch on stream and thousands of people will watch on YouTube. Just think about that amount of power that you have, right? You can formulate and form an event, an entire event that I'm going to be doing. That's an amazing amount of power when you really think about it. So, think about pledging over at patreon.com/DarkSidePhil. And if you do, thank you very much. You've got about 2 weeks left to get in on that event. And, of course, help me out as well. Pretty cool. Number 2, guys, there is a Teespring merchandise shop, right? I mean, you're staring at the plugs right now on the screen for the Teespring shop, right? So pretty cool merchandise, including things such as t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and mugs. Great quality stuff that I wear on the streams from time to time. The mug I use on every single stream, and I've owned this now, some of this stuff, for over a year. It's great quality stuff. I can personally attest to the quality of this stuff, okay? Because I own a bunch of it, and I've used it for over a year, and it has not degraded or fallen apart. You know, some shirts you buy, and they're a custom-made shirt. It looks great at first, and then you wear it for like 2-3 months, wash it a few times, the thing's all worn out. I can personally attest that these do not wear out, you know, like that. I purposely picked the higher quality fabric and the higher quality shirts so that you guys would be getting a great quality collectible. All right, I make a little bit less money doing that, but I'd rather have you have a better quality collectible than anything else. All right. So that being said, please give it a look over at teespring.com/stores/DSPGaming. Thanks to anyone who does buy anything. By the way, yes, they do ship internationally. Anything you buy, I get a little bit of a commission from, and obviously you get a really cool collectible out of it. Okay? Pretty nice. All right. Last but not least, guys, if you're here live on the stream, all right, and the reason I say it that way is because some people are not live right now. They're actually watching this on demand on YouTube, which is fine. A lot of people watch the pre-stream that way. But if you're here live on stream and you're liking the stream, you're liking the fun that we're having together, and you want to have a little bit of interactivity with me, and you want to get a shout out during the stream, there's 3 ways that you can qualify to do that. You can either cheer with bits, you can subscribe to the channel, or you can tip me. And if you do any of those 3 things during the course of today's stream, all right, I would give you a shout out during the course of the stream, right? Now, there's a couple criteria that I just want to let you guys know, okay? A couple criteria to cover. The first is pretty much common sense. Please be as short-worded as possible. Please understand that this is a gameplay stream, and I got to keep the stream moving. And so if I completely derail the stream by reading a ginormous paragraph message and then trying to respond to it, and we have, you know, minutes upon minutes of no gameplay and everything, that's going to derail the stream, and it's kind of defeats the purpose, okay? I do appreciate when people ask me questions and stuff like that, but please try to keep it as concise as possible, because that is going to be the best way to approach it and get a shout out on the stream, okay? Number 2, please consider being positive. Please try to keep stuff on topic, all right? Do not bring toxicity or drama into the chat, and please don't try to bring up incredibly controversial things. So I'll give you a perfect example. Please don't bring up politics. Please don't bring up religion. Those are divisive topics that if we are to bring them up and start talking about them on a gameplay stream, it's going to get people pissed off no matter what. All right. Please don't bring in negativity about some person said something about someone's insulting you, blah, blah, blah. You know, yesterday I did a stream where I did a big segment about depression and being aware of depression, trying to spread awareness and giving my personal account of my battle with it over my life, okay? And immediately the toxic people come in. Oh, Phil doesn't have depression. He's just trying to get sympathy, blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff. You see what I mean? Like, that's a perfect example. Please don't bring that stuff into the chat. And certainly, please don't try to get a shout out. It's at my discretion what I read on my own streams. It's subjective, not objective. So, if I see that people are trying to get, trying to stir the pot, per se, and start trouble and start drama, I have the ability to decide whether or not I'm going to read something. All right? So, please understand that up front. And in general, the bottom line is 95% of people get it. We get a few bad apples who are trying to cause trouble, and a few people who may be newcomers who don't know the rules. All right, but outside of that, most people who cheer, sub, or tip to get a shout out They get it. The streams end up being fun and interactive. So no complaints on my end. I love it. I hope you guys love it too. And I'm looking forward to a fun stream today. Okay? Now, going a step further, perhaps you'd like to get visual recognition for your contributions. Maybe you'd like to have a fun animation play over the stream while I'm streaming here today. That's very possible. If you either cheer 50 bits or more in one shot, or if you subscribe to the channel and you wait a few minutes for a share button to appear and you click on that said share button, or if you tip me $5 or more all in one shot. If you do any of those three things, all right, you will get a fun animation that will play on the stream. Pretty cool, right? And so the cool thing about that is not only do you get visual recognition, but you're going to get verbal as well when I give you your verbal shout out too. So it's kind of like double recognition for any contribution. All right, so it's awesome, and it's a good way to interact with me during the streams. I want to say thank you to anyone who does cheer, sub, or tip. You guys are awesome, and thanks for your support, okay? Now, a couple more quick things before we begin with shout outs. The first is I want to talk about subscriptions, all right? Right now, we have already exceeded both subscriber goals for the channel this month, which is amazing. I didn't expect to do that, but I had a lot of support so far this month, people kind of rallying to help out, and I do appreciate that very much, okay? Now, that means that we're not only going to be doing the Rageathon, but we're also doing the Tier 2 Patron's Choice playthrough, which is Simpsons Hit and Run, as I've already mentioned. So thanks for that, guys. I could set up a Tier 3 sub goal. I've decided not to. The reason being is I really don't want to jump the gun. I have a couple ideas for future sub goal celebration events, and I don't want to set up another one, and now I've got like 3-4 pending events. You know what I mean? They're going to have too many on the what's the word? On the dock, or no. On deck. That's what I'm looking for. On deck. You don't want 4 or 5 events not happening all on deck. You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you're so backlogged. I don't want to do that. Plus, number 2, I just don't want to burn out on all my event ideas too quickly. So there will be another fun new sub goal event in July. But for now, the sub goals have already been reached. So thanks, guys, for that support. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't sub. If you subscribe to the channel, guys, you're going to get a lot of benefits. The first benefit you get is access to all of my custom emotes, including the ever-popular DSP Pepe emote. But in addition to that, all the new fun emotes from recently, like the DSP Ryu emote and the Hadouken and Fireball emotes. You know, last night I was playing Street Fighter and people were using those like crazy, which was a lot of fun. I am an avid Street Fighter fan, and I usually play it about once a week. Plus, you can use those emotes on anyone else's stream, all right? So even if you like other fighting game streams and you want to be able to use those emotes, you could do so. All right. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat again this morning. I actually woke up. My allergies have been bothering me a little bit recently. I think it's because yesterday the landscapers were here and they cut the lawn. Ugh, I've been all gunked up, but I think it's going to get better. It's feeling a little better today. All right, but anyway. Yeah, the emotes are great. And by the way, someone had a really good suggestion yesterday. They said, Phil, why don't you have more positive emotes? Why don't you have emotes of you doing more positive celebratory stuff, like you cheering or thumbs up? And I was like, you know what? I kind of agree. I think that there should be more positive emotes because a lot of them do seem to be more negatively geared. So if anyone has ideas for new emotes, all right, and you want to, you know, add in new emotes that are more positive than anything else, please let me know. And I'd be more than happy to talk with people who, you know, make emotes for me to see if they can whip something together. And also, if there are any emotes that I have that you guys feel are not being used and they should just be dumped, you know what I mean? Let me know too. Because either way, you know, it's going to be positive. I don't want emotes kind of just like sitting around unused because people don't really like them or whatever. So, you know, if anything, once we had these new slew of emotes that were added a couple weeks ago, immediately we saw a big surge in subs. So if anything, they definitely, you know, do get people to subscribe to the channel, which is great. So that's why I'm always open to suggestions for improvement, okay? Pretty cool. Now, that's only the first benefit. The other benefit is that if you're watching the stream, all right, if you're watching the stream and I run an ad, which I don't do all the time, you know, real talk, years ago when I first started streaming back in 2013, it was a lot more about trying to make money via ad revenue, and I would run an ad like every half hour or every hour. I don't do that anymore. I realized that running ads really doesn't make much money at all on Twitch. In fact, it was funny. The other day, I was streaming, okay? And I probably had around 400 people on stream. And I looked, and Twitch has this new thing now that it tells you on average how much money you'll make if you run advertisements. And it's like, with 400 people on stream, if you were to run a certain amount of ads, you'll make like $4. And I'm like, $4? Interesting. Wow. $4. That is not very impressive. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much like, so we're going to interrupt everything, break the flow of the stream to make $4. That's probably not worth it. All right. So I don't run ads often. You know, I know some streamers do, some streamers don't. I usually don't. I'd rather just be here gaming with you, you know. And if you guys feel like you want to cheer, sub, or tip to get a shout out or whatever, that's cool. But I'm not looking to make a ton of money running ads. Real talk. Okay. But when I do run those ads, because I typically at least do it at least once, if not twice, every major stream. You know, I got to use the bathroom or whatever. Stretch the legs. If you subscribe, you don't have to watch those advertisements. It skips those ads. You just kind of hang around. And I do play music during the breaks. So instead of having to watch an ad, you just kind of hang out and watch the music or listen to the music. So now number 3 is obviously the chat crown for subscribers. It's the chat loyalty crown. You get to see people with this crown in the stream chat. They start out as a bronze crown. When you hit 3 months of ongoing support, it changes to silver. When you hit 6 months, it changes to gold. And then when you hit a year, it turns into a nice ruby-encrusted crown. All right? Pretty soon, another few months, we'll have some people hitting the 2-year anniversary, which is another different crown. So that's another benefit you get for subbing. And obviously, guys, I get the benefit of you guys are supporting me with the sub. It helps out. All right? So that's all the benefits of subbing. I hope you'll consider subbing, especially if you like the content and the ongoing streams. Thank you guys very much for those who are subscribers. Okay? All right. And then last but not least, guys, if you are wondering how you can tip me, because I've mentioned now multiple times that you can get shout-outs for tips. There's 2 ways that you can do it. It's a totally separate system from the Twitch system with bits and subscribers. So just so you know, here's how you do it. What you got to do is you got to look below my stream here on my Twitch page, and you should see a grid of information, including my stream rules, which you should definitely read and understand before we get started with gameplay here. Also, a link to my DSPGaming YouTube channel where I archive all of my game playthroughs on a daily basis. Anything you watch here on stream, you could catch up on YouTube if you could not, you know, stay for the entirety of the stream or if you want to watch it again. But the most important link there is the tips jar. In this case, if you click on that one, it'll take you to my PayPal tip page where you can either leave an anonymous tip or you can leave your name in a message if you would like a shout out. All right. Now, if you don't see any of that information that I just mentioned below the stream, more than likely you're watching on a mobile device or watching on a mobile version of Twitch, which is perfectly fine. If you type in !tip into the stream chat, in that case, you will then see a link. And if you click on that link, it will bring you to the tips page where you can leave a tip as well. Now, you guys may notice at the top of your screen, all right, at the very top of your screen, there is a stream stats kind of ticker. And what that is my current amount of subscribers, my top cheerer, and my top tipper for the day. I will be updating that periodically when we do get new top cheerers and top tippers. If you're the person who did the biggest cheer or the biggest tip, you'll end up on that leaderboard to get credit over the course of today's stream. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start with shout-outs for people who have cheered, subbed, and tipped. And I'm going to start updating that leaderboard right now. Okay? So now's a good opportunity, hint, hint, if you want to get up there to try to get top cheer or top tip. All right. All right, so here we go. Let me scroll all the way down here. First of all, I want to start off with a couple people tonight, actually, who cheered, subbed, and tipped overnight. Even though I was not here live streaming, there's people who keep me in mind overnight, and they cheer, sub, or tip, but I'm not even here, which is pretty awesome. So a special shout out to the following people. We've got Hands Celebratory, who cheered. He says, "Oh my God, I can't read this. It's too naughty." I think he's referencing a few people who attempted to do, cheer, subs, and tips over the past few days and get a shout out, but they said something that would not necessarily be too appropriate for streaming on Twitch. So thank you, Hands Celebratory, for the cheer. And Infinite55 did a 50-bit cheer, and he used that new, LGBT Pride emote for this month. This is LGBT Celebration Month, by the way, Pride Month. So thank you, Infinite, for the 50-bit cheer. I appreciate that. All right, very nice. Now, let's move on to people who cheered, subbed, and tipped while the stream was running. Right? Just turned on the stream and then they contributed. The first person that we have today, the very first person, is the Asian entrepreneur who tipped me $1. And thank you very much for that. I'm going to get you right up on the leaderboard immediately. Thank you very much for that $1 tip. I appreciate it. And let's read his message, because it's a pretty good one. He says the following. Took some balls to talk about depression and your personal encounters with it on that podcast. Mad respect, man. I feel absolutely the same. Feels like you never deserve any of this, but our girlfriends help support us and remind us that we're worth it. Absolutely. 100%. I'm not even kidding. Right after the podcast ended yesterday, I came out of my office because my girlfriend had come home from work in the meantime. I ran downstairs and I hugged and I kissed her. And I called her my angel. And we teared up, and we were so happy. I seriously, like, it was, like, perfect, because I just talked about this stuff on the podcast, and I ran downstairs to see her, and we were so happy to be together, and, you know, that's what it's all about. Even though you may be battling something tough in your life, and even though life may not be perfect, and even though you may have a disorder that makes you feel like shit when you shouldn't, if you have someone there to be there for you and be supportive for you and love you, you know, I don't want to say it fixes it, but it makes it bearable. You know what I mean? Like, so many people fall into despair because they feel like they're not loved. They feel like there's no reason to go on. Their life is worthless. And I don't feel like that. And a big part of that is because of her. Because she's changed my life in the last year so much for the better. Most people might not realize this. We're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. Our 1-year anniversary is in a few weeks. Yeah, I'm trying to think exactly, how many weeks. But it's in July. We first started dating in July of last year. So, we're almost coming up on a year. See, for you guys, you don't realize that. Because remember, I didn't even tell anyone about her until, what was it, October? Or no, I think it was November of last year. So, you guys didn't even know she existed until the end of last year. So, for her, you guys, she's a relatively new part of my life. But she's been in my life for a year. So pretty awesome, right? Pretty damned awesome. And, love Kat to death. I really do. She is definitely my soulmate. So, very nice. Thank you for the tip, Asian Entrepreneur. A good way to start the stream. All right. Shout out to Ratio91, who subscribed to the channel. Thank you, Ratio91, for the subscription. I appreciate that very much. Thanks for the support. Shout out to YOLO Dopper. YOLO Dopper cheered and said, take us back to Wakanda and give us a good massage. What? What? Is Wakanda the land of massages? I didn't see Black Panther, so I don't know. Last night I saw Thor Ragnarok because it was finally added to Netflix. I didn't see Black Panther, so is this movie about just a massage empire? People come to Wakanda to get amazing massages? Is that what this is about? I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to wait till it comes till it comes out. I don't know. Sounds kind of weird to me. All right, so anyway. Let's continue on. I don't know what's going on anymore. The Lord Lamb V3 cheered. He said, what's up, Phil? I've been liking your streams recently to the point I'm considering becoming a $50 patron in the next couple of weeks. Well, thank you, Lord Lamb. Keep in mind, if you become a $50 patron, just think of all the perks you're going to get. Number one, you're going to get an exclusive Q&A video. You're going to be able to ask me questions. I'll make you a private video. Number two, you're going to get to publicly ask questions on the next episode of Ask the King, which happens next month in July, and you're going to get those questions answered for sure on the show. Number three, you're going to get a verbal shout-out on Ask the King. Number four, you're going to be able to nominate and vote on Rageathon games. And number five, you're going to get text thank yous, in my videos on YouTube, notably the Week in Preview. So for $50, you get 5 levels of perks. That's pretty cool, man. So thanks for that, and I guess I'll be keeping my eyes peeled. All right, for that, and thank you very much for even considering it. I appreciate that, and thanks for letting me know that you've been liking the streams recently. Shout out to Kula116, who did a 50-bit cheer, said, go Portugal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me get Kula up on the leaderboard for being top cheerer for today. World Cup is in effect. The World Cup has begun. And, in fact, I think right now there might even be, some World Cup games going on. And the world is abuzz with the World Cup. Me, not so much, because as you guys know, I'm not a big sports guy. Football is the biggest sport in the world, undoubtedly. It's hilarious because it's actually not big in the United States, but it's big literally everywhere else. People are talking about it like crazy because, I do have a big international fan base. A lot of you guys and gals who watch me on streams here are not from the United States. And you know what? I understand that and I appreciate it. I like having a worldwide viewership of people who, from all walks of life, all places, like to come out and share my gameplay experiences with me on a daily basis. It's a pretty awesome thing, right? So, no matter who your favorite team is, I wish them luck. I don't know too much about the World Cup, like I said. However, I do know that Twitch is doing a special event where I guess if you cheer in a certain way, you can unlock free emotes for the chat. Now, they're limited time emotes. They're not forever. I think they're only going to last like for a month or whatever, if that. A couple weeks maybe. But I think it's cool. At the same time, though, it's a little bit frustrating for me because what happened was they have a new command to enable this kind of cheering. And sadly, my Muxie, which is my ticker that picks up all of your contributions, your cheer subs and tips, hasn't been picking up those cheers. So some people are like, I cheered, but you didn't give me a shout out. And I'm like, oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't, I don't see it here. And then they'd have to tell me later on what they said, and I give them a shout out regardless. But it sucks for, my way of kind of tracking your contributions. It hasn't been working for whatever reason with this new special cheering or whatever. But I guess we'll see. Thanks for your contributions, and World Cup's in full effect, and I'm doing my best to, to keep stuff going properly here. Hopefully Muxie does get caught up with it. But anyway, thanks guys very much. All right, and I hope that like I said, I hope your team does well in the World Cup, whoever they may be. All right. Johnny Soros just cheered. He says, "Do we help with your depression, Phil?" Well, here's the deal. One of the major things about depression that really gets you down is when you feel that no one cares, that your life is meaningless, you really have no value. This is where when I was at my absolute lowest point with depression, it was because I really felt that no one cared about me. I didn't care about me anymore. I hated myself and where I was in my life. And I didn't feel like anything I did was of value. I was an insignificant speck, that if this speck didn't even exist anymore, it wouldn't matter. That's like the kind of almost like the pits of despair, Like, what's the point of waking up in the morning? Right? That's like the deepest, darkest depression. Why am I even going to get out of bed today? What's the point? And so, to know that I have a viewership of people, thousands of people, it's not just, you may say it's a couple hundred people. That's the people who are able to tune in live on stream. But you guys have to understand that on a daily basis, unique viewers, I have, 1,000 at least on Twitch and thousands on YouTube. Every day on YouTube, even when I don't put out content, I get tens of thousands of views on all of my videos. So it's pretty awesome to know that I have, like I said, this worldwide audience of people who want to watch me continue to evolve as a person, but also to play games and have fun and share those experiences with you guys. It makes me feel like I'm doing something meaningful, and so many people in the last 10 years have reached out to me to tell me, Phil, it's not just about the games, it's the fact that you share your life experience with us. And, it means so much that you persevere over so much stuff that you come up against, and I'll be real with you guys. There's been times in these 10 years when I feel like no matter what I do, I get defeated anyway. Like, no matter how much fight I put up, no matter how much I strive to be successful, that I'm always going to have the next thing that jumps up ahead, the next roadblock, the next giant thing that I can't control that screws me over, and I got to find a way around or whatever, right? And it's happened again and again and again. And people say, well, Phil, why do you put up with it? Why do you put up with the fact that even though you bust your ass to keep doing this for a living, that you've got massive slander against you? There's thousands of people out there who think that you're a scumbag because so many people put out slanderous and defamatory videos about you that really are not based in any realm of truth. There's maybe a snippet of truth of a moment of weakness that you had, and they turn it into this disgusting thing like it's you all the time. And so many people come to your streams for the first time and realize you're not like that, right? Because they actually give you a chance, but most people don't like you. So how do you put up with that? Why do I strive to do it? And the bottom line is, yeah, all that stuff causes me sometimes to be depressed. There are days when sometimes I wake up and I'm like, what's the point of it all, right? But it's knowing that I have a fan base. It's knowing that I have a dedicated viewership of loyal supporters who like me and like what I do. They know that I'm a flawed individual. They know that I'm not perfect. They also know that I'm real. I'm not a faker who puts out a character for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people out there who are very popular because they put on a character face when they go on stream or they go on YouTube. And you never get that with me. You get the real me. You know, I always pride myself on being incredibly honest. So, yeah, I would say knowing that I have people who support me no matter what, and every day they want to, be a part of my life and jump in and have fun with me on stream or on YouTube is incredibly supportive, and it does help. Now, is it enough to every single day overcome when I have a really shit day? Not necessarily, And I do realize that I lean on you guys a lot, I do. I mean, realistically, in the past couple of years, you guys have saved my asses a few times. Just in particular, this last year, when I was down in the dumps after a bunch of negative stuff going on with me, I kind of leaned on my streams as the form of positivity, And then, again, I got hit with bullshit with back taxes and stuff that I found out I owed. And you guys kind of saved me out of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's been like, I understand that you guys basically are my fallback and my crutch when, sadly, I'm just doing my own thing and things fall apart. And I want to say thank you for that. But I do feel bad about it, too, because I realize that you guys just want to hang out and play games. You don't always want to hear about negative shit going on and everything. And I get that, I'm hoping that we're going to get to a point where I'm not going to have to worry about this shit anymore. Where maybe someday, I don't know when the hell, how much longer I'm going to have to grind at it to do it, but someday I'll be able to come to stream, have fun with you guys. It's not going to be about, oh no, what's the next fire to put out, or oh no, what's the next overdramatic, crazy sky is falling bullshit event going on. Instead, it's just going to be about having fun and hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? That's what I want it to be. And I hate that the past couple of years I haven't been able to portray that because it hasn't been that way, But yeah, you guys help me out of it. When I have a real shit day, sometimes I come to stream, you guys pump me back up. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky. Now, I'm lucky because not only do I have you guys, but like I said, I also have Kat. She's the real life support. Kat is the real life support that I need outside of the realm of the internet, the virtual, right? We've got the real life support here from Kat, and I got the virtual support from you guys, and, it works. At least, as of now, it still works. You know what I mean? You see Bambino, so Bambino says, but how much longer will I have to grind? No matter how you look at it, being self-employed, you always have to grind for ratings. But that's the thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how much longer do I have to grind until I don't have another ridiculous scenario that fucks me over, that I don't even control. That's what I mean. I realize I'll have to work my butt off for the rest of my life being self-employed. I know that. But I'm okay with that as long as I can finally get to a point where I don't have to be incredibly stressed out every single day of my life because some crazy looming doom disaster is happening behind the scenes. I don't want that. I just want to be able to come here and hang out with you guys and have fun. Back in the day, I'll give you some perspective here. Back in the day, all right, before I moved to Washington and I accumulated a ridiculous amount of debt to do so, I was in a situation where I was making more than enough money than I ever needed, all right, and I basically didn't have the kind of feelings that I have daily now. Like, before 2013, people liked me. It wasn't like people negatively had all these negative feelings about me with this is how you don't play on the internet. It was generally, I'd say, from the years of like 2010 all the way through to like 2013, I'd say 3 to 4 years there, people really, it was all positive. And, it was really, I felt really supported by people and everything. And that all kind of changed. It did. It all kind of changed when I moved across the country. It seemed like there was a big negative wave of attention. How dare Phil have a nice house? How dare Phil have a nice life, for just being a guy who plays games on the internet? Look at this. He's disrespectful to game developers. And so let's make this is how you don't play videos and stuff. And it just kind of exploded with negativity from there, I would like to someday get back to that level where, not to say that I'm going to be that popular, because I never will be again. I know that. But I would definitely like to get back to that level where at least I can just say, there's no great financial crisis looming over my fucking head. And There's no big doom and gloom situation where I'm going to lose the channel or I'm going to lose my streaming capability or I'm going to lose my ability to do what I love. And instead, I can just kind of hang out with you guys every day and have fun. And it's part of kind of, you know, just a cool, positive thing. And that's what I want to get to. I realize I'm going to be grinding for the rest of my life. I get that. But just to not have another uneasy thing, you know, another uneasy situation, another kind of situation where you never know what's going to happen. That's what I want to get back to that feeling of kind of feeling more safe and, you know, feeling like there's a little bit of security and, you know, people will have my back and I don't have to worry about shit falling apart on a daily basis. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. I got a little weirdly sidetracked by that one. Gimme Patch cheered. He said, in my opinion, your style of gameplay and originality is why you're one of the best YouTubers, no matter what others may say. I certainly hope you guys feel that I'm different from everybody else. I've strived to do that. Since day one, I strive to be myself and to not change who I was for the sake of popularity on YouTube. While everyone else was conforming to YouTube norms and changing their video styles and doing all these things to basically get into YouTube, Google searches, algorithms of you know, favor, so that their videos could be viewed by a bunch of kids and they could make money. I never did that. And, you know, I strive to be who I am. And in a lot of ways, I know the reason that I'm in the situation I am is because I've been stubborn about that. And I don't want to change into something that I don't like and I don't respect. And I know I could have a lot more money and be in a much better financial position right now if I had. But, you know, I stick to my guns. It is what it is. And, you know, I'm still here 10 years later. So I think that at least means something. You know what I mean? All right, a big bumbling black man cheered and said, time to crack down on dinosaurs. Do you think we'll find Yoshi roaming around the island of Isa Nublar? I don't know about Yoshi, but we are trying to get that. I think we did, actually. Put the Chinese dinosaur, finally, into our herbivore's pen, right? If anything, what I think I need to do, when I get to the next island, I need to start making multiple pens. Because right now I only have two. One for herbivores, one for carnivores. And it's not working. The dinosaurs are finally starting to not get along and stuff. So what I'm thinking is, if you got a giant dinosaur, give it its own pen, right? A bunch of smaller dinosaurs, maybe that are more social, can get along. But the carnivores, I have to make at least like 2 pens. Because as we've seen, the carnivores do not get along and try to attack and eat each other. So, alright, Kula did a 52-bit cheer. So he topped himself. He actually topped himself. Let me go ahead and update this to 52 bits. And he says, there we go, 52 bits. I haven't checked yet. Did you finish Vampire? No, I did not. I'm in the middle of Chapter 5 of Vampire, okay? And as I said earlier, I believe the game has 7 chapters, but many people have said Chapter 7 is pretty much just the epilogue of the story, that there really isn't significant gameplay. It's mostly just talking with people and getting kind of into the story. So, I mean, realistically, how long do I have left in Vampire? Maybe 1 to 2 sessions, maybe 1 major session, since it seems like every chapter it could be anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours, dependent on the content of that chapter. Chapter 4 was roughly, I'd say, roughly about 3 hours. So maybe if I'm in the middle of Chapter 5, if I do a major session of it, again, maybe on Sunday, I might beat the game. So, I guess we'll see. But, you know, still plugging away at that one. Getting close to the end. Omnis Class has cheered. Hey, no, excuse me. I said that completely wrong. Omnisias. Omnisias is how you say his name. Cheered. And he said, what's your opinion about USA, Canada, and Mexico hosting the World Cup in 2026? I have no opinion. Like I said, I am not a sports guy. All right. For me to actually pretend like I have an opinion on this subject would be ludicrous. I know nothing about it. I don't know what the ramifications of these countries hosting the World Cup is. I don't know if it's beneficial, I don't know what people think. I don't know nothing. So I'm the last person on earth you should probably ask about that, because I have no informed opinion. It would be really silly for me to try to formulate an opinion on something I have no knowledge about. But thank you for the cheer regardless. All right, shout out to Kula, who actually resubscribed to the channel for the 5th month in a row. Thank you, Kula, for the resub. I appreciate that very much. In fact, you know what? Let's take a look at, let's see here. Sub count. Did the subs go up or down today? They have gone nowhere. We got 2 subs today, but they stayed at 486. Okay, there you go. Alright. Shout out to a big bumbling black man who cheered again, and he says, gotta punch through that ball of dough like you've talked about before. Right, yeah, I remember. Last week when my DSPGaming channel got erroneously suspended. It never should have been suspended in the first place, and YouTube acknowledged that and fixed it. But, when that happened, I basically described kind of my feelings of how I feel as being caught under a giant ball of dough, and so I have to punch my way up and out of it in order to breathe and continue to live, and then another ball of dough just gets plopped right on top of my fucking head again, right? And that's kind of how it is. It's like, the ball of dough, you're really doing it, you're finally there, you're at the end, you've punched through, get a nice gasp of breath, fresh air, and enjoy it, because here comes the next lump of dough just to squish you back down to where you were, you know? And it stinks, but I'm going to keep fighting. I'm not going to give up, you know? I've come this far, 10 years, guys. 10 years I've come this far, I'm not going to give up now. That would be a pretty shitty way to end it, to say I just give up and throw in the towel, right? With all the crap, you know, and I say I've been through it, but in a lot of ways you guys have been through it too. Because a lot of you have been here along the way with me, along this crazy ride. So for me to kind of say, what I've been through, it's kind of selfish. Because you've all been part of it too, you know what I mean? So thanks for that, just in that regard, guys. But, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep striving to succeed. I'm gonna keep striving to survive and to be here and to share my fun daily experiences with you as long as I possibly can. All right. There you go. Shout out to Johnny Saurus Rex. All right. Johnny Saurus Rex. Tip me $2. So you are now the top tipper, Johnny Saurus. Let me go ahead and update that. Shit. $2. There we go. So shout out to Johnny Saurus Rex, who tipped me $2, and he says the following. He says, I get you, Phil. I too suffer from severe depression. I think the most important part is a person's will to never give up and keep standing no matter how hard things get. The will to keep trying no matter what happens determines our worth, in my opinion. Well, you know, I would like to say, you know, it is important to recognize those who have fought against adversity and fought against things like depression and succeeded. Of course it is. At the same time, I don't think it's fair to hold everyone up to that crazy standard. Like, I mean, real again, I say real talk a lot, but the shit that I've been up against, I would not hold it against anyone who had any kind of the one half of the stuff that happened to me. If this happened to anyone, if they were to just say, forget it, it's not worth it, I wouldn't blame them. You know, just think of all the shit that's happened to me over the years, the ridiculous amounts of abuse, the false copyright strikes, the false accusations that I break community rules, and I'm being abusive to people on the internet, which is I got accused of doxing someone, which I've never done. Being swatted, being DDoS attacked. I was DDoS attacked for 6 straight months until I finally figured out the solution to the problem. You know, the constant amount of false reporting that I get against all of my streams, right? I couldn't imagine the amount of paperwork that has to be dealt with by a company, you know, like Twitch or whatever, who get so many false, I say paperwork, but what I mean is like busy work, investigating when people falsely say that I do things wrong every single day. It's crazy, you know? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Then there's the stuff I don't even personally deal with, like the slanderous videos, right? How many of those have been made, and when you watch them, it's not even based on fact. You know? Ridiculous. The best one recently was when someone, it's so stupid, they actually made a video that said that I rage quit Extinction. I was one of the few people on the internet to actually play Extinction and actually beat the game. In fact, I'd be surprised if you could find another person like me who does this for a living who took the time to play and beat Extinction. All right? And this person made a video saying I rage quit the game. No factual basis at all, but thousands of people watch the video because they're stupid. But that's the problem, is this is all the time. It's constant. Constant. When people say stuff like this about me, when none of it's true. They take something, you know, what they'll do is so they recorded my gameplay illegally, by the way, up to a point where I got frustrated, and I you know, okay, and then they say, oh, well, that was when he quit, and that was the end of the playthrough. That didn't even happen. But they'll just make shit up, you know? Phil has an escort who he pays money. He didn't have any tax problems. He raised money to pay for an escort. Like, what the fuck? No factual basis. It's crazy. Now, imagine if that was your life. Imagine if every day of your life, someone was making shit up about you, and thousands of people were so gullible they believed it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my reality. That's my actual reality. And it's nuts. But the thing is, Johnny, I wouldn't hold it against someone else who, if they were ever in my position, that they were to give up. Because, the bottom line is, it takes a certain kind of person, and it takes a certain kind of metal. And in a lot of ways, I might think that I'm kind of a crazy person to have put up with as much as I have. Because maybe it would have been made more sense at one point when things were going wrong to say, fuck this, I'm out of here, and I'm going to go get, an in real life job. I don't know, I'll declare bankruptcy and just say, there's no way I can pay my financial obligations that I've accrued because I can't make enough money with an in real life job to pay it, and say, screw this, disappear from the internet, for 5-10 years, and just have an offline kind of existence, And who's to say that that wouldn't have been better? You know what I mean? With all the shit that I've been through. I mean, I'm incredibly lucky that with all that I've been through, that I am where I am. Right now, for the short term, I shouldn't necessarily say for the long term, because I don't know. For now, I still have a beautiful house. I still have, a following of people who support me on a daily basis. I'm still able to enjoy my job, my hobby as a job, right? I have a beautiful, woman who loves me and lives with me and supports me. I mean, I'm lucky. I might not have been in that situation. I could have been, everything could have fallen apart and I could have lost everything by now, So, it's pretty crazy to think how I've toughed through all of this just to stay where I am. And, a lot of people kind of say, is it worth it? And that's a good question. Is it worth it? At the end of the day, when all this is done, because as you guys know, everything comes to an end, right? I'm not going to live forever. Bottom line, I'm only 36 years old now, but eventually this whole wild ride is going to end. Can we sit here and collectively, can we look at it at the end and say, was it worth it? I don't know. Will we be able to say that? Right now, I've got a legacy of 60,000 YouTube videos that people watch on a daily basis. And, to some extent, will that live forever? I don't know. Is YouTube going to be around forever in the way it is now? I don't know. I almost think that YouTube at one point will say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to do an audit of videos. And we're going to look for videos that are old and don't get attention anymore. So more than likely what they would do is start wiping out old playthroughs, old videos of mine that not a lot of people go and watch anymore. They may have hundreds of thousands of views from back in the day, but they may just wipe the server and say, well, it doesn't get attention anymore, delete it. And then you're kind of like, so was it all worth it, right? Because now my legacy is gone. People won't even be able to see it anymore. I don't know. At the end of the day, let me put it this way. At the end of the day, every night, I can at least go to sleep and I can say, you know what? I'm okay with who I am. I may be a flawed individual and I may make a lot of mistakes, but I'm okay with who I am. Today I didn't burn down a house. I didn't massively hurt a bunch of people. I had fun. People seem to like what I do. And, despite the fact that there's a bunch of misinformed people out there who love to shit on me and say that I'm a horrendous person, in reality, I know I'm not. And I can get to go to sleep at night without being tortured by thinking that I hate what I've become, I don't respect who I am, and I do this just for the money and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Then I'm okay with it. And that's kind of where I am right now, is even with all the crap that happens and that I go through, I'm okay with it as long as I can rest easy. And right now I can, So, all right. Well, shout out to Silent Defect who cheered. It said, don't give up. We need your entertainment. And Two Bar King did a 100-bit cheer and is now the cheerleader for today. So let me get Two Bar King up here on the leaderboard. Thank you, Two Bar King, for the support. Thank you very much. All right. Well, that was a heavy pre-stream. Super Wombat Man, I know absolutely nothing about what you're talking about in the stream chat. Nothing. Zero. So you can stop spamming the stream chat. Thanks. Okay. All right. Outside of that, I don't really have much else to talk about today. I'm not sure if you guys have any other final questions for me before we begin the stream. Jurassic World Evolution. Let's see if I can hold my second part together long enough to hit 3 stars and then get to the third island and kind of start over again. I'm thinking, what I'm thinking, all right, is that I can get this monorail finish, which I was building right before I ended my final stream of or my final gameplay of this on Tuesday. Get the monorail finished and then immediately release the Velociraptor. And maybe that will bump my star rating just enough to push me over the edge and hit 3 stars. And when I do, boom, immediately get the fuck out of there. Go to the Island 3 before all hell breaks loose. Because you know that Velociraptor is going to tear shit up. You just know it, right? So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens, my friends. Alright, so that is it. Thank you guys for a fun, supportive free stream. I do appreciate your support and hanging out with me here for a while. And let's see how this goes. Yes, Beard Tendy, this is only my second stream of this game. This has been a very busy week. You know, I started this on Tuesday. I played Unravel 2 on Wednesday. And then yesterday I did my podcast. So every day's been something very different. This is my first chance to even get back to the game for another session. So, yeah, I know. It's because usually when I play a new release, I play it, you know, more than one session within a whole week. But this is my first chance of coming back, so. Alright. Alright, guys. Thank you again for your support. I appreciate it. And let's end the pre-stream and let's get started. Here we go.